hello, and welcome to the show. It's Wrestling with Entertainment, the only audio experience on the web today. The trusted choice for interviewing all your favorite wrestlers every Tuesday and Wednesday, and previewing and reviewing the latest shows from WWE, AEW, New Japan, and everything in between. Every Saturday on YouTube and Castbox, sponsored by Rogue Energy and Player One Coffee. I'm, of course, your host, James J., alongside the leader of Squaw Squad, Kaliko Yachts, who is currently in Cleveland as we speak.
Detroit?
Huh?
No, I'm sorry. I thought you were quoting Huey Lewis.
No, Kaliko is in Cleveland. And the American Scooter Dust, who is firmly planted on his couch.
What's a couch?
On the floor.
What's a floor?
I mean, at least like a yoga mat?
Alright, now you're going back up to like these luxurious things that people stand on, man. Come on.
I mean, okay, so like a pit of dirt?
It's more like a pile of dirt, and when I say dirt, I mean a random assortment of body parts removed from dead homeless people.
Yeah, tell us what you do in your spare time, Scooter.
Or homeless dead people.
It was a good week for Wrestling With as we interviewed Cornboy, Kevin Gutierrez on Monday, Keyshawn Calloway on Tuesday, and Zombie Dragon on Wednesday. Three incredible interviews, three very unique interviews from each other. You definitely want to go back into the archives and check those out if you haven't already. This upcoming Tuesday, we have Green Phantom, a Canadian legend at this point. We talk all things International Wrestling Syndicate, managing RVD, and a hell of a lot more. And this upcoming Wednesday, Crystal Rose. We have a Sal DePaul story. We talk about her rivalries, competing for NWA, competing for the NWA Women's Championship, and tons more. You definitely want to check those out when they release. But until then, here's some clips. Wrestling to managing. You actually was in RVD's corner for a match. How did that come up?
Well, at the time I was injured, right? I was getting my knee surgery. I just had knee surgery because I totally fucked up my knee, so they had to reconstruct it basically. And so during that time I was off, but the IWS booked RVD, and I just thought that we were just a really, it made sense with his 420 deal, my green thing. And also, I'd wrestled with Sabu years earlier. It just made sense to me, and I wanted to be part of the show, of course. And I'm a huge RVD mark. So I just proposed the idea to him, and he was really down with it. He was all good. He's a really cool dude. So he had no problem getting with the green in more than one way, I'll tell you.
Did the Green Phantom and RVD get with the green that night?
They certainly did, brother. They certainly did. We bonded on more than one issue. We're very similar-minded dudes.
I wasn't, I was green. I wasn't thinking about how high those bleachers were and how thin my knee pads were. But I said, hey, Sal, I'm going to jump off the top of these bleachers and y'all are going to catch me. Y'all as in 2 or 3 people, I thought. And it ended up just being Sal. He caught me, but, the only thing I could remember after he caught me, he did say, thank God, was I hit my knees first. And I was just like, my knees hurt so bad right now. I cannot get up. But that was about 20 years ago. That was a long time ago.
Okay, and then on the 13th we have Leon Savor. On the 14th we see Ramon. The 20th, Drea Mitchell. 21st, Alex Mays. The 26th, which is a Monday, we have Finn Corso. Uh, 27, Andrew Cass. 28, Johnny Pierce. September 3rd, Emilian Lewis. And on the 4th, Corvus. Alright, I think we're all done putting ourselves over. No, Scooter?
I never stop putting myself over.
And it's a great day for wrestling because we are wrestling with the news. And I think this was an interesting bit of news this week. Jesse the Body Ventura made his return to WWE content. Didn't necessarily do anything story related, but he was seen entering the building. So, I mean, it's always cool when you have a legend back on the paywall, right?
Yeah, I'd definitely say so. Presumably, they're already filming content for SummerSlam 2026.
That's right. Yeah.
So, I mean, and of course, everybody will remember the last SummerSlam to happen in Cleveland was 99. Was it 2000? No. Yeah, 99. The out of body experience, where where Stone Cold took his ball and didn't go home, but he just wouldn't lose the Triple H.
Very true. I thought that was in
Yep.
not Indianapolis. Was it Indianapolis?
Oh my God, I'm confusing Minnesota. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, SummerSlam. Yeah. God, you're confusing me, James. Damn it.
I didn't say a word.
You said Indianapolis, and I'm thinking, oh God, oh no, wait. But no, yes, the tropical heat of Minnesota, for the biggest party of the summer.
Were you surprised that Jesse didn't necessarily do anything per se for the on the show? They featured him, but they didn't they didn't do anything with him.
Mm, I mean, what is there left to do with Jesse Ventura? Not to mention, his God, I didn't want to bring this into it, but his political views are not everyone's cup of tea.
Well, I mean, not necessarily have a political debate with Jesse the Body, but like just get him out in front of the crowd, say hello, things like that.
Well, I mean, I'm presuming this goes back to the whole talent being allowed to reclaim their names and to retain their gimmicks. And I'm going to assume that was retroactive. And given that the last time SummerSlam was in Minnesota, Jesse was involved. I'm almost certain it's going to result in some sort of tourism promotion thing.
Well, until we get to I think they would like to use him before 2 years before 2 years it comes. I mean, he might not even be here.
I mean, what?
I mean, he'll go to Hawaii.
I mean, what would you use? Yeah, Jesse Ventura these days. I mean, he's not. He's been so far removed from the commentary booth that.
I mean, he could still cut a promo, right?
Do you remember the episode of Raw when Jesse Ventura was the guest GM?
Yeah.
He made Vince and him go back to the commentary table.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was not. Yeah, there's a reason it doesn't work now.
Well, let's talk about this upcoming SummerSlam. It's a couple hours away. Obviously, we'll be doing our review next week on the show. But the Hardy Boyz have been spotted in Cleveland and speaking to WWE management. As of right now, I don't believe they have anything to do with. I mean, they have. They're working with TNA, but they're not, under full contract with TNA. Do you see the Hardys making one last triumph hurrah in WWE, or is it basically maybe a Hall of Fame and a handshake at this point?
I'm definitely leaning towards Hall of Fame. More than likely, an A&E biography special, which you can probably get 3 out of Jeff and Matt separately, and then Jeff and Matt as a team. The only match I would be interested in seeing on WWE soil with the Hardys now involves 2 talents that are contracted to WWE right now. Hardy's Rascals.
Really? That's the best you could do for the Hardys?
You think they can, you still think they can go?
I mean, I'm not saying that it's not that they can, the going part, I feel like they could do a lot bigger and a lot better than the Rascals.
Well, it's like a passing of the torch.
And I mean, they're already in TNA. They could wrestle the Rascals right now if they wanted to. Hell, they might have already, and we don't know it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're talking about like top tag teams right now, I would either say Gorillas of Destiny or who does?
Gorillas of Destiny would be almost in an instant squash.
I think that it wouldn't necessarily be a technical match. It would be more of a Gaga match per se. So they could lead them in a Gaga match to get what they need out of them. But I'm trying to blank on tag teams right now. I mean, I don't think Finn Balor and DJ McDonough McFunko McFucker is Word Wrestling.
I mean,
See, hold
the
on.
Wyatt Six.
Okay, there you go. It does seem that Gacy and Dexter
Seeing,
Loomis is going to be a tag team. So
seeing Dexter Loomis with long braided hair and him actually yelling.
okay, so and there is storyline implications to that because Matt Hardy used to be with Bray Wyatt, so that's not out of the realm of possibilities. But could we see just for one night, maybe last match, Jeff Hardy versus Cody Rhodes?
I would say try and get Dustin back
No.
and do Hardy's Rhodes.
Oh God, no.
Because I'm sorry, Cody and Jeff is just not a match I'm interested in seeing anymore. Because honestly, I think that's a really low bar for Cody. And it's a very high bar for Jeff. No pun intended.
You're kind of right. But, I mean, he has Jeff Hardy. I mean, a lot of the talent that we have today wouldn't be where they were if they didn't see the Hardys wrestling, so.
Mm. Yeah, I suppose so.
I mean, and now another person that's been cited in Cleveland as well is a one Brock Lesnar. Triple H did make comments about Brock, which did lead to further speculation that he might be there. I don't think we're going to get anything with Brock Lesnar as of. There hasn't been anything court-wise dated with the Vince McMahon allegations. So the trial has to start, and Brock Lesnar doesn't have to be. If he's not mentioned, he'll come back. If he is, then they'll wait to pull the trigger on that, right?
Actually, thinking about it, I now have I think I've got the perfect moment for him to show up, and I'm sure I don't know if we were planning on talking about this, but you know, Logan Paul runs his mouth again, making a comment about
Which
God,
we don't necessarily have to talk about political.
But my point is this: people want to see Logan Paul answer for that. They want some accountability. What better way than having Brock come in and F5 him?
I don't think WWE cares at this point.
I mean, they would. God, the internet would be like, you know, all the trolls are saying, "Oh, wrestling is so fake." They'll see that and be like, "Oh, yes, wrestling is absolutely real."
Oh, like I said, I don't think WWE necessarily is taking these comments into account. It took major allegations to get a development team dream out of WWE. So
it took actual evidence.
Right. So I highly doubt we're going to see any issues and problems between WWE and Logan Paul.
Well, Speaking of people being spotted places, I found this very interesting. Chase University represented at the most recent TNA tapings in Tampa. Riley Osborne of the very well liked Chase University stable led by Andre Chase, an NXT, former NXT Tag Team Champions. Not exactly sure what match he's a part of, but he is in full Chase U attire, and they do play the Chase U theme music.
I mean, Chase U, against all odds, actually got over. And if I'm being honest, they are pretty charming. So, yeah, why wouldn't they get over?
This is a teachable moment.
Yeah. The lesson being?
No, that's Chase University's motto.
Oh, okay. So you definitely think there's no possibility of Brock Lesnar making an appearance at this year's SummerSlam?
I think Brock's name was dropped to kind of lower everyone's expectations, so that when you hear that dystopian electronic beat kick in, and here's Roman, that Solo, hold on, Dave. Roman's return, they've set it up to such a degree that if they weren't planning on it, it'll probably be, there's probably going to be a little bit of outrage. Considering that Solo has cut promos on Roman and what happened with Paul Heyman, and Roman, one of the yet again gets a face turn by being off television.
By literally doing nothing.
He has got it down. Roman is the Percy Watson meme come to life.
Percy Watson meme?
Yeah. What is step one, step two, something else. Step three, question mark, question mark, question mark. Step four, profit.
Okay.
And Percy Watson had some sort of stupid list that was like his gimmick, some shit like that.
I don't know. Percy Watson was never a decent talent. I mean, he seemed.
I mean, he was decent enough to get booked in a General commercial with Shaq.
Yeah, I suppose, but it seemed like he was wasted on commentary.
See, that I don't even remember Percy Watson being on commentary.
Okay then. Well, that was. That was a long. It was with Corey Graves, I believe.
Please don't tell me you're confusing him with Byron Saxton.
No. It was either. I think it was after Byron moved up to the main roster.
Byron was never an active wrestler on the main roster.
No, as a commentator.
Byron was backstage interviewer first before he was a commentator.
I don't know. I just remember him on commentary for something.
I think He might. God, was it ECW? Yeah, who knows?
Well, we're talking about Roman Reigns returning a possible, bloodline slash bloodline versus bloodline match at
I,
Survivor Series.
and
Yeah,
not to mention that uh, uh, Cody and Solo is now a Bloodline Rules match.
correct. Which might prompt to
Run-ins
Jimmy
galore.
coming back.
Run-ins galore.
Oh yeah. Um, Survivor Series has been announced. It will take place in Vancouver, the opposite end of Canada. Um, it was originally rumored to be in Los Angeles. I'm somewhat disappointed that it isn't. But, I mean, okay, I get these international, pay-per-views have been working for them. When is America going to get a PLE?
In a few hours.
I mean, we're not seeing SummerSlam in England anytime soon. You know what I mean? I mean, the big four, they said they're going to be in America. There's still what? But for nine PLEs.
Well, aside from the Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, and SummerSlam, every other event has been outside the U.S.
Right. I mean, it would have been a banger to see Survivor Series in Los Angeles. It's been 6 years.
Uh,
2018.
well, I guess we now know the reason that they put Bad Blood back in the fold.
Yeah. I mean, it isn't a
Atlanta.
a small area either. I mean, Atlanta has been a great place for pro wrestling. I don't know. It just seems I get it, but at the same time, I don't get it. We needed 2 PLEs in Canada in 1 year. Really?
That is surprising. Yes.
Well, keeping up with WWE news and who's doing what, Jacob Henry has signed with WWE as a future star. Jacob Henry is the son of Mark Henry. World's Strongest Man obviously has the genes. What are your thoughts on a possible Jacob Henry run in WWE?
Well, hopefully he's got his father's strength and his mother's ability to wrestle.
His mother was a wrestler?
Mae Young.
Oh, that's right. Okay then, yeah.
I mean, it's always great when you can be given a hand in this business.
I think he has. I mean, it all depends on what he does and how he does it. Charisma notwithstanding.
The fact that he's Mark Henry's son really comes in handy.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Get it?
Yeah, I get it.
Get it?
Yep. So, yeah. Jacob Henry might be our next superstar. That being said, don't. My bit of advice to Jacob is, if Xbox offers you a sandwich, don't eat it.
And never, ever wear a pink suit jacket. Because when you do, we will know that you are in fact turning heel.
It wasn't pink. It was like a salmon color.
Even in Mark Henry's first heel turn, he wore pink. When he turned on Ken Shamrock.
God, that's so far between. That's so far between that and when he turned on Cena.
Well,
yeah.
And I just kind of come across this. I take this with a very big grain of salt. But with the TNA and their this new working relationship with NXT, going around the rumor mill is Ken Shamrock for the Hall of Fame.
Ken Shamrock is in the Hall of Fame.
The WWE Hall of Fame.
Oh. I feel like he was announced like a couple years ago, but
No.
it was rumored, at least.
Yeah, so well, TNA is fresh on the brain here. With Mark Henry and whatnot. I mean, hey, we could get that, that dream Brock Lesnar Ken Shamrock match.
That nobody's ever talked about. Let's switch topics. And this might be the biggest topic we talk about tonight, and that is Shane McMahon meets with Tony Khan. It's not a rumor. It's not innuendo. There is picture evidence of Tony Khan meeting with Shane McMahon. What would this work? I mean, let's break it into pieces. What would it mean for Shane McMahon to go work for AEW?
Well, first of all, Tony tricked Shane. Tony said he was Nick Khan. And Shane fell for it, hooker, lines of cocaine, and sinker. If anything, I don't know if it would matter about Shane going, appearing on TV for AEW. That will never happen. However, Shane is a very good businessman, especially when it comes to promoting in foreign markets. And I'm pretty sure Shane is on a couple of boards for entertainment companies in numerous countries, specifically in the Southeast Asian, Pan-Pacific areas of the world. I would also think, let's see, how many years has it been? It's been 8 years, roughly.
Since?
Maybe the meeting was not for Shane. Maybe it was for the kids. 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 Maybe it was for the kids.
What,
Maybe it was for Deacon McMahon.
for his son?
Yeah, possibly.
To do what? Wrestle?
I mean, hey, they got Bruce Wayne to wrestle, so
He's Damian Wayne, not Bruce Wayne. Don't give him that much.
Damian Wayne is in is in the NWA. He used to run with the Miz, remember?
Oh, Damian Sandow? Is that who you're talking about?
You ruined a perfectly good bit, James.
This is
God.
why we should talk before we do this.
Let's see. Wait. This just in, I'm being inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame.
Former
The
WWE Women's Tag Team Champion, right here.
I don't think your fetishes are an appropriate topic of discussion here on Wrestling With.
That you were one half of the tag team WWE Women's Tag Team Champions at one point, with me as your tag team partner.
Yes, we were. And remember the time when we worked for Vince, and then he fired us.
Because
Fired
we
all
didn't
of us.
allow him to shit on our head.
He hired everybody in the world and then fired everybody in the world.
Oh, that's true. What was we talking about? Oh,
Shane McMahon. Shane McMahon and Tony Khan.
Yeah. So, I think that this is definitely Shane doing something, definitely getting the how's it called? Spinning the wheel or getting the buzz or whatever you want to call it. I think that he is going to be working somewhat closely to Tony Khan as a consultant of some type. Maybe not on the payroll at first. But if I'm being completely honest, I do see this as some type of power move by Shane McMahon. When the timing is... Anybody could see very clearly that Tony Khan has the word sucker written on the back of his head. So, when you get Tony Khan to trust you, you get into his inner circle, and, Shane is of McMahon. When the timing's right, take the company from underneath him.
Tony's father would never allow that.
I mean, Nick does... Is it Nick? No, it's Shad. Shad Khan.
Yeah, Sheikh Abdul, Kareem Abdul Khan.
Who knows? Maybe Shane's a savvy guy. Maybe he'll marry Tony Khan and just inherit the business.
McCon.
Shane McMahon Khan.
Khan McMahon. Con Man. Uh-oh. We figured it out. We don't know what we figured out, but we know we figured it out. Honestly, I really think this is more to do with Shane's business acumen for getting a consistent streaming platform. I think there's another related piece of news in regards to at least this, and that's the Executive Vice President of Talent Relations and Head of Communications, Chris Gentile. He's the guy that replaced John Laurinaitis. Was on Richard Deitch's sports media podcast 2 days ago. Yes, and stated that WWE has zero interest in a working relationship with AEW or any sort of supercard or co-promoted show like TNA and NXT have now.
Which is, I would say, is the right thing.
So, if I think the power play is very unlikely, given the real world ramifications. And again, I would say I would agree with you that it would be a consultancy of some kind, for the one area of the entertainment industry that the Khan family doesn't exactly have the greatest knowledge in.
True. I think it's just a matter of waiting at this point and seeing what happens. But I do see that, honestly, we always knew that there was maybe some bad blood between Triple H and Shane McMahon, and now it's clear, it's evident that they are not on the best of terms.
Well, there was a point, as WWE came into the mid 2010s and the network was starting to boom, that Shane had a falling out with Vince, and we never thought we'd see him again.
True. But my question is, was Shane and Triple H ever on good terms?
Oh, I believe so. Absolutely. If this really boils down to either Shane thinking he was entitled to run the WWE alongside his sister, or if this is some sort of manipulation on Vince's part.
I think that's maybe going a little too far to that.
Well, I mean, you think that's almost as an unlikely scenario as a power play of Shane McMahon actually, for real, attempting to do what was that in storyline with WCW.
Right.
I will say this though. If you're part of a group that calls themselves the Elite, and everybody's booing you because you're running the company and you're booking everything in your favor,
right?
Why, we can have our very own. It was me, Tony. It was me. You know, it's either, holy shit, oh my God, it's for a match.
Okay.
One match. One AEW match.
Okay.
And if Shane is still a death-defying crazed spot monkey, Shane McMahon versus Darby Allin.
You know, that I think that would definitely be a match that would make Tony Khan lose his shit and all other bodily functions.
I mean, and you know what? This will be the last thing I say about it. It's also very possible Tony's asking for advice on how to do a proper, corporation versus, the company storyline.
I don't think Tony Khan is the type of person to ask for advice, considering how AEW's been run in the last 5 years. But I digress.
Remember, this is the man that sold a bump he took at the NFL draft. One of the most legitimate and prestigious events in all of professional sports.
And they completely shit on him for doing so.
Exactly. So, why not get the advice of, well, I guess, the number two? I mean, it's quite possible Shane and Tony have just struck up a friendship based on the fact that they have really, really severe daddy issues.
You know what? I could believe that.
I mean, thank God Tony doesn't have a sister.
I think he does.
Cocaine is not a person.
Yes, besides cocaine, I believe he has a sister.
Hookers aren't people, come on.
Well, speaking of severe daddy issues, MJF and Brit Baker, they had a conflict in issue backstage. Fists were flying. Brit won. MJF was crying. No, that's not actually what happened, but it kind of seems that way considering how it was presented. Brit Baker apparently, allegedly, was talking shit about MJF. MJF's girlfriend was in the locker room, heard that, told him about it, and caused him to confront Brit. The confrontation did get Brit suspended by AEW, but she will still be able to make her match against Mercedes at All In. From my perspective, what are you doing, Brit? Okay, you have issues and problems with the girls you're working with. Get that. Not everybody sees eye to eye, especially when it comes to, working with each other. But now you're picking fights with the guys as well. It does. If AEW wasn't a thing, I kind of feel like Britt Baker would be a problematic person to have on your roster.
What strikes me about this is how much Will Ospreay is mentioned in this. MJF supposedly, after this whole incident, punched a wall before his, hour-long match with Will Ospreay. And for some reason, Ospreay spoke to Brit Baker for some reason. I didn't know Will Ospreay was on that, that same HR panel that Bryan Danielson is supposedly on.
The ethics committee. Right.
I mean, for all we know, this could have been over just a really bad game of Scrabble that, Britt and Adam had with MJF and Alicia, during couples game night.
I mean, maybe. Apparently, there was some type of falling out between MJF and Britt a year prior to this. What that was about, I have no idea.
The fallout from Fallout.
Another all-out brawlout. Fuck my life.
No, I said the fallout from All Out.
There's so many all-out, fallout, in and out. All these problems would be settled if they were out, if they ate in and out.
You do the hokey pokey.
And another thing of this, why the fuck was Elisa Tout in the women's locker room? She don't go there.
Yes, she does.
She works for AEW?
Yep.
Oh, so her bae got her a job. Did you have a comment?
No, I'm trying to remember if the relationship actually happened before she became part of AEW. Oh, God. And what female did they just put on the broadcast team?
It wasn't a tout. It was some. I want to say it was somebody from WWE. She's a part of the Spanish announcing team or broadcast or something like that. But like I said, is Britt Baker a problematic wrestler?
Lexi Nair, that's it. Okay. I don't think I don't think it's a whole problematic thing. And let us not forget that there's still a story that needs to be finished between MJF and and Brit Bay.
Oh, that's true.
It's I mean, I think this is AEW thinking they're clever in planting the seeds of something that they think fans are too stupid to notice.
So you think this is a work?
Yep.
Okay.
But if you thought what happened to Britt was bad, poor old Mercedes Moné, divorced.
You mean he couldn't deal with her all the hype of being married to Mercedes Moné?
Uh, um, who knows? But since he gets hacked, she will now be known as Merce Mo.
I was thinking Mercedes Alimony.
I could go for a nice slice of pie with some alimony on top.
Yeah.
My alimony has a first name, it's S-A-S-H-A. My alimony has a second name, it's B-A-N-K-S.
He's definitely gonna be eating good after that divorce is final. Somebody that's not eating good, Sammy Guevara. Um, he is officially a part of the Ring of Honor roster. Um,
Can
Rumor
we,
and innuendo would suggest that it was because he didn't want to turn heel on AEW TV, so they made him a face on Ring of Honor. Um, Other people would speculate it's because of comments he made about Mercedes a couple years ago that were did not depict Sammy Guevara in the best of light. And that Miss Monet did not want to be on the same roster as Sammy Guevara. Your thoughts, Scooter?
you know, and we all thought, Hulk Hogan having creative control was bad. Like, this is, uh, uh, oh, God.
It's 100% doing whatever she wants because she can.
Yeah.
She is, you know, as big of a as big of an ego Hulk Hogan had. At least he could back it up. Hulk Hogan made a shit ton of money for whoever he worked with. He drew that, and he had the pull behind himself to say that don't work out for me, brother, because he was Hulk Hogan, and he drew the buildings that they were running. Mercedes, she she can't even draw 1 million people. What tickets has she sold?
Very true. Very true.
Your your mania run is non-existent. You're not living up to the ego that you have.
Yeah. When in a interview she did, uh, no, I'm sorry, this was on her YouTube channel. She she goes on to say that Vince was obsessed with putting her and Reggie together.
That would have been funny.
Yes, you have to remember how Reggie started out, though,
As
as
a butler.
as Carmella's sommelier,
Yeah.
Carmella's wine guy.
Ironically
because
enough, they did that storyline with Nia Jax instead.
That was more of a reversal, a reverse romance angle. Plus there's no shortage of curvy female wrestlers and men who are smaller than they are.
Let's talk about Sammy Guevara.
If you hear this, call me.
It does. I mean, obviously, Mercedes is the. If we're comparing Sammy Guevara to Mercedes is the bigger star, 100%. That being said, when contracts come up, and all contracts do come up, does Sammy Guevara leave AEW for the simple fact that he will never be on that main roster as long as Mercedes is taking Tony Khan's money?
I mean, if there's anybody Cody would vouch for, it's Sammy.
That's right. He would have to clean up his acts because he has been, he hasn't presented himself in the best of lights all the time, to say the least. But if he has somebody like Cody Rhodes vouching for him, and he minds, what he says and what he does, I mean, he's a husband and father at this point. I mean, he can be a mid-carder. I don't see him getting to the main, to the top of the mountain, but hey, when you're making money, do you care?
I mean, we didn't expect to see Shawn Spears back in WWE, NXT, let alone WWE at all. And and now he's part of the the top of the card. The thing with Sammy is I have to kind of go with my gut and say that they would try to use Sammy as an equivalent for Ricochet. And that would not work. I also have another theory.
Well, I mean, he has a better personality than Ricochet. I could definitely say that.
And I have another theory, and I call this the Doubtfire theory. Have you ever seen Mercedes Moné and Sammy Guevara in the same room together?
Oh, will you stop it?
Just saying. Some Scotch tape and some red hair dye.
But it does beg a question. Is AEW alienating the people that have been there since day one, have been big stars for their company, for the sake of these people that are maybe slightly bigger than these people? But but even then, I mean, we know Mercedes isn't going to stick around forever. So it only, devalues the people that's been with you all this time, no?
Yeah, I would agree with that. AEW also kind of has a bit of delusional grandeur in how old, and they don't realize that while, yes, 5 years is an impressive milestone for a promotion, but it's also it also means that AEW is still an infant when it comes to the amount of time it's been active, and it's AEW kind of inflating their own ego in hyping up stuff that only happened 5 years ago as a long time ago.
True.
So it's like hey, it's like I say, hey, remember way back when I brought up Mercedes' divorce?
Right. And also keep in mind, WWE was never closer to closing their doors and going bankrupt 10 years into the company, Vince McMahon owning it. 94, 95 were arguably the worst years of WWE's tenure.
Yep.
They were running high school gyms at that point. So, just because you've made it that far, yeah, it's an act. Yes, it's nothing to sneeze at, but it doesn't mean that you're out of the woods. I mean, Ted Turner only owned WCW for 7.
Yep.
So, how about get past 7 years, and then let's talk shit. Right. And who's talking shit right now? It's still AEW, because they signed Mason Mansoor. I suppose that will put some asses in seats, no, Scooter?
Nope, it will not. It will put some asses out of seats.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if they ever do a show in Saudi Arabia, they know who's going to headline that. I mean,
they could get their hands on, Mustafa Ali.
I think he's working for TNA. Well, actually, no.
He's leaving.
Yeah, he's leaving. So, I mean, they could, but I don't know if he wants to. But yeah. Mason Mansoor, AEW. I'm sure that was a good write-off for Tony. Alright, unless there's anything you want to talk about, I think that will conclude this episode.
Let me just do
Just say no, Scooter.
No, I'm just... I'm just looking at the...
Okay.
Did you talk about Slammiversary last week?
Nothing really worth talking about, honestly.
Really, the fact that Moose got taken out of the main event in an elimination match, third by Joe Hendry.
And that Dolph Ziggler won. Who cares? It's TNA doing TNA shit.
See, I wouldn't have moved War Games out of NXT this year. Imagine NXT versus TNA War Games. Oh, I'm sorry, Full Metal Mayhem.
Okay. That might be something down the line.
Or Full Metal May Hell in a Cell.
And I will conclude our coverage of the news and this episode as a whole. Join us next week as we do our review of SummerSlam and whatever else happens in the world of pro wrestling between now and then. Of course, thank you for listening. If you like what we're doing, please like, subscribe, comment, vote on YouTube and Castbox. This was sponsored by Rogue Energy and Player One Coffee. Join us this Tuesday as we interview Green Phantom, and this Wednesday as we interview Crystal Rose. Join us every Tuesday and Wednesday for new incredible interviews. Follow the show at Wrestling with E, both on X, Thread, and Instagram for information on who we're interviewing, when we're interviewing them, links to those interviews, and so much more. Follow me personally at JamesShay993. Where can we find Scooter?
As always, find me on X at ScooterDoes. I appeal to social media for any and all upcoming news.
But mainly complaining about Marvel Snap.
Basically, yes.
Yeah. For Coleco Yachts and Scooter Dust, I'm James J, and this has been Wrestling with Entertainment.
Hey folks, this is the Colossal Mike Law, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment. Enjoy the show, support these guys. We appreciate it very much. We'll see you at ringside.